Week one is in the books. Have your impressions changed? Is your opinion changed on where teams stand in the league after one weekend game of games? Let's find out after this.
Go, 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 go.
Good evening, fellas.
You know, it's been a couple days removed from well, I call this day two of my deep depression. But there's some fans out there that are pretty happy. Of course, the first game we're going to break down this week is going to be the Birmingham Arlington game. And I knew that Brett would be all ready to chime in on the results of week one with against Arlington. But I got a little guest in the background that I'm going to bring in after Brett has his day, just to maybe offer a little bit of balance. So, okay, Brett.
Well, it was it was a fun weekend of football. Thank goodness it's finally here. First of all, it's a lot of waiting, a lot of what ifs, but it's here and gone. Uh, Game one, Arlington and Birmingham. Arlington was very impressive to me with their physicality. For the most part, Birmingham could not run the ball, did not get any push on running plays. Arlington jumped out, and Perez really controlled the early part of the game. Then hit a long deep pass, got up 11-3, and Birmingham and us fans were just hoping and looking for a field goal to uh, to get closer at halftime, considering we got the ball first in the second half. And I literally turned to all the folks at the watch party in Birmingham and said, we need a fake out and a streak down the right side of the sideline and a deep ball. And when the ball was in the air, I just started grinning. It was a beautiful pass, and then an unbelievable dive to make the 2 point conversion to tie it up at halftime. And honestly, the game was never really the same afterwards. But I was very impressed again with a lot of what Arlington did on both lines of scrimmage. Very physical, well coached team by Stoops. Perez is not going to cost you any games. He is the real deal. He's an experienced spring quarterback, and Birmingham just once they got everything rolling, man, that was it. That was it. The defense stepped up, got a lot of pressure on Perez. Had some great plays on the corner by I believe 28 Burns. I think he had 3 passes defensed in the game. But really, again, after that deep ball to end the second half and then the 2 point conversion by the Stallions, the game was never the same. And last 6, 7, 8 minutes, Birmingham just tried to run the clock out and finally did start getting some push on the line of scrimmage and took care of business. Battle of champions, and the real champion won the game. Like they say, the cream usually rises to the top. And Birmingham, until proven differently, right now are the best team in the league. But 9 weeks to go, then the playoffs and the championship game. We all know, we've all watched a lot of football. A lot can happen. All that being said, giddy up, and the Stallions are running wild on the UFL. And that, friends, is the bottom line.
Well, that's interesting. I never heard anybody after week one of a new league actually call their team the best team in the league after they weren't even the most impressive team in week one. Let's be honest. Come on now, y'all, come on now.
Some of us can actually watch
Oh, oh,
football and know football, and some of us can't. And not being judgmental, but yeah,
hold on, hold on,
yeah,
hold on, hold on. You had your time.
I called
You had your
Birmingham as
time.
being
You had your time. You had your time. Hold on. Let's talk about this game, okay? Because I agree with you. I agree with you about everything you said about this way game, this way the game, the way it went down. Okay, you know what the difference was? Yes, that first that touchdown with 3 seconds left in the first half, completely like the momentum was completely taken. Birmingham, like you were saying, they get down. Maybe they're getting a field goal. Just trying to keep it close, and that just I don't know what it did because when they came out in the second half, you guys had that momentum. It was there. You knew it. You knew it. And at that point, Arlington was playing an uphill battle mentally because they weren't doing that through the whole game. That first half, I think Arlington was a lot more in control of it, even though the score didn't show it. But I think
yeah.
like that when they got that rush off the edge, because Perez was moving the ball pretty good,
Hmm.
and when he's fumble, when he's hitting the hand and stuff like that, really, that shows a lot right there, as opposed to the interception that Matt Corral threw, which was just ugly. That was a horrible decision when he tried to force that. But yeah, you were absolutely right. Straight up, straight up. That completely changed everything because it was never the same again. And I think when we got to the second half, though, Brett, being serious here, um, it looked like, if I'm going to be real, Stoops was out coached. That his staff was out coached in that second half because just like you guys normally do, and you guys do have your staff has a good history of knowing how to adjust in games. Very good at that. It is what won you championships, and that's what happened in this game. You made your adjustments, and to be honest, Stoops. If I will say one thing that hurt Stoops, coming, with his whole legacy in college, he never had to adjust a lot because his teams were always so dominant.
Right,
So it's not his greatest strength.
right.
And we saw it, But to be honest, like you guys really controlled the entire second half. Like you said, the run started to get going, and I think some of that attributed in the fourth quarter to at that point Arlington's defense was just too tired. At that point, they're like, y'all can't keep us off the field. We don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
and your run game just and Matt Corral, while he didn't have a great game, I will say this: late in that game, in the fourth quarter, when you guys were on third down, he would get those blitzes, man. And I was yelling for the blitz since early in the third quarter. I'm like, our front four was getting no pressure, and I'm like, just get in there. Other than Vic Beasley, who had the one sack, and at that point they started blitzing, but y'all were ready for it because at that point, late fourth quarter, what's coming. And they were hitting those little third downs, those slants, getting the first down, keeping the drive going. So definitely outcoached. I do feel like you guys didn't even play. I think what your potential could be, and it was still enough to win. My question is to you, Brett. What's going on at quarterback, man? Because you're going to tell me. I mean, Matt Corral was actually benched in this game at one point. If it wasn't for Martinez getting injured, does he even come back in the game? How does the rest of the game look?
That's a very good question. And I was just picking at you earlier, although, I'm as fair as the day is long. I really feel like Arlington controlled a lot of the first half. And I'm gonna tell you what, Birmingham, we were very blessed and very resilient to only be down 8 to where at the end of the half we could tie the game up. Because I'm gonna tell you what, we couldn't get Arlington and Perez off the field on a lot of those third downs. Perez looked sharp. He looked in midseason form. But yeah, look, we kind of knew, and this is very typical for. I don't know if you followed Birmingham the previous 2 years. We have always pretty much had a two quarterback system. Jamar, even in his college career at Louisiana Tech with Skip, was always like a roller coaster. When Jamar is on, he looks like a top flight quarterback. But then there's another side of Jamar that's woof. And I'm gonna tell you what, Corral showed us some of that woof this weekend. He missed, I want to say, three very short, makeable. One of them was a third down pass, and he just threw them in the ground. Then he
I'm
forced
glad
that
you said
that
that.
pass when we were driving. That slant that you're talking about, it was a high pass. It was forced in coverage. He asked for it to be intercepted. Then Martinez, to me, really got us kind of going in the right direction with his legs. And then with a couple big scrambles. And then again, like you said, he got his foot hurt. Now, to answer your question directly, who could I predict who's going to be the quarterback moving forward for Birmingham? I cannot tell you, but I do know this. Skip's great at that. And I do feel like we've got three quarterbacks that are capable. But could I call if it's going to be Jamar when he gets back? Is it going to be Martinez or Corral? I could not tell you. But again, in year one with Birmingham, we were winning the game against the Stars, and Jamar went down, and Magoo closed out the deal. Jamar started year two last year, got hurt first game of the year, and Magoo finished it off for the season. So Skip is very good with a two quarterback system. I have all the faith in the world in Skip. And I will mention, like, agree with you about another thing you said. Stoops, like you said, most of the teams he played against when he was coaching at Oklahoma, he had the superior staff or the superior players 9 times out of 10. So you are right about that. But I don't want anybody to disrespect Arlington and what I saw Saturday, because I'm going to tell you what. But before that deep pass, Arlington was giving Birmingham everything they wanted and more, and that's a fact. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. You asked me who's the best team in the XFL right now. From what I saw this weekend, look. I'm not so sure I wouldn't be saying Arlington, because people can knock Birmingham and people can jump all over me for my opinion. Birmingham's good, guys. Skip's smart. We're loaded, and Arlington gave us every bit we wanted that first half. So Arlington deserves all the respect in the world from this weekend.
And let's be real. Let's be real, okay? We know football. You and me know football. We've all been watching football for a long time.
Right.
Week one is in professional football is perhaps the worst time to overreact.
Oh yeah.
And the bad part about it is that this is the time that everybody overreacts. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's like I'm seeing Brahmas fans talking about, man, crown us. We're getting there. And I'm like, y'all need to, yes, it was an impressive game. Okay. But if you ask me, it was the equivalent this week of what could be a preseason with a game plan, because you saw the rust from players out there. None
Yeah.
of these quarterbacks, I really think that Luis Perez was the one from kickoff that really looked the most comfortable from all the
Yeah.
four quarterbacks. I thought AJ McCarron later in that game, I was finally starting. I'm like, all right, there's AJ right there. That's the dude right there. But I didn't see a complete game that would really impress me from any of the quarterbacks this week. And I think a lot of that has to do with it's week one. And so
Right.
I like to use the term fool's gold, because you got to watch out for the fool's gold. We don't know yet how good
Right.
any of these teams are. We don't know if San Antonio is going to be as good as they showed. We don't know
Right.
if Michigan. We know that. I will be honest. When AJ got them in the end zone, I'm like, that's game. That is game. AJ Perry is not getting these guys down here in field goal range. Well, and then 64-yard kick later. Sorry, and that's not a shot at my boys there, you guys, man. Easy E and Daddy Ed. That's not a shot at your Battlehawks, but I thought that game was over, to be honest. But
Man,
I,
you
I
got to
really
give
feel
Michigan all the credit, though. They are exactly who we thought they were. Like I said on the show last week, their front seven and their defense is as physical and as tough as it gets. Like you said, AJ and the boys finally got it going late. But you got to give it to Michigan, man. When that kid kicked a 64-yard field goal and was froze, I said, well, hell, there ain't no way he going to do that again. And then he kicked the second one, and I'm sitting there looking around at everybody. I'm like, what the hell just happened, you know?
All right,
yeah,
Don't
Gabe,
forget my boy Case Cookins, though, now. He looked good.
Eric and I are going to have to go have a hot dog and some chips here pretty soon. Gabe, I want to thank you for coming on. Why don't you give a shout out to your new podcast, and then we're going to have to
yes,
go to a break.
gotcha.
Go
All
ahead.
right, hey, it's been fun, boys. Hey, me and you are gonna do this again, Brett. Hopefully in championship time. But hey,
Sounds
if
good,
you
bud.
guys got Renegades fans out there, if you know any, jump them on. It's going to be this Thursday. I'll be streaming live Hellraisers podcast. I've done my research. It is the official first fan podcast devoted to the Arlington Renegades. So I'm a little proud of that, man. So I'm hoping to build it up a little bit. So any Renegades fans, man, help them tune in. It's available on Fuel, and it is available on Spotify as well. Hellraisers podcast devoted to the Arlington Renegades. We're gonna raise some hell this year. Even if we lose, y'all ain't gonna shut me up. That's the problem.
All right. Well, thanks a lot,
Hey,
Kevin.
Brett, it's been fun, guys. Thank you.
Yep. We'll
Good luck rest of the season, bro.
Same to you. Same to you.
We will be right back. Okay, I couldn't bring him on last week and then not give him his 2 minutes to gloat. So here we go. We'll bring Mike back. We'll bring him back. Man, man.
Oh, how I have waited for this to come here.
And since Brett's already flapped his gums about the Battlehawks, I don't want to hear anything come out of his mouth. So we're gonna take him off. So so go ahead. I'm gonna give you first shot before I let Easy give his impression of the game. But you go ahead.
I got 3 words, and that is any given Sunday. In this case, Saturday. But, everyone can make all their predictions. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. Everyone thought this was the easy pick. Oh, Battlehawks. Oh, they beat the Panthers. No analyst out there was picking the Panthers. I feel like I was outside of, you may have the homer thing, but just something about the whole defense, running the ball, using the old school NFL formula that Mike Nolan knows, and that's just smash mouth defense, get a smash mouth running back, get a quarterback, EJ Perry. Now, he didn't do the best at taking care of the football, but he made the plays when he needed to. Having those 2 rushing touchdowns, and in a defense game like this that we saw, that was enough to get the job done.
What do you think, Eric?
Well, congratulations to Michigan on the win. Took a 64-yarder, but you won't have that kicker for long, so you better find somebody else that can do that for you at the end of the game. I tell you what, I watched that game, and I was extremely annoyed.
Beautiful.
You have I'm just talking about from the Battlehawks standpoint on offense. Our defense was, I don't know, the first 2 drives, I think you guys had -1 yards. It was ugly, and our defense was doing everything they could, and we did nothing but, we did nothing on offense to try to even stretch it. We just kind of sat back there, and it was kind of 3 and out. We didn't really try to push it. We didn't, you add in a drop pass here or whatever, and it was ugly. And then when we decided to turn it on, we've got the lead with 44 seconds left, and then EJ probably makes his best completion of the day and gets him within 64 yards to kick a field goal. And I'm thinking to myself, why were we not trying to do this the whole game?
Well,
it's stupid.
This game was a carbon copy of the first game last year, where we were conservative until we were behind and had to score. Then we pushed the ball down the field.
Yeah.
So what
Dumb.
happens then? You look at Michigan had 112 yards rushing for the game, but once the Battlehawks went up 9-7, and they kicked the ball off back to Michigan, Michigan returns the ball out to the 44-yard line, which, there again is another argument of mine. You've got kickers nowadays that can kick the living hell out of the ball. But if you watch, every time the Battlehawks kicked off, their guy was catching the ball at the 20-yard line. Their guy was
Right.
catching the ball at the 15-yard line. Whenever we were on, or whenever the Battlehawks were receiving a kickoff, they were catching it on the 5. They were catching it on the 10. And so when I look at the average starting field position, the Battlehawks had 32-yard line. And the ball was kicked anywhere from the 2 to 8-yard line. When Michigan kicked off, or when the Battlehawks kicked off to Michigan, they caught the ball on the 12 once, the 15 twice. They had the ball at the 41, 44, so you're with a kicker like that, they're a first down or two away from kicking a field goal, But
Mhm.
so when the Battlehawks went up 9-7, it took 5 plays for Michigan to go back ahead, because Hill had an 18-yarder, a 24-yarder, a 1-yarder. Then, Perry had a 5 and 8-yarder, and they were in no time to take the lead back. So what happens when the Battlehawks are behind and they have to score? They push it down the field and they score again, which drives me crazy, because it's like, for the first half, even almost the first 3 quarters, you're conservative. Why? And then when you have to do it, you're able to score touchdowns. I just, there was one series in the third quarter or the fourth quarter. We had 3rd and 2. We handed the ball straight up the middle for a yard, made it 4th and 1. Ran the ball straight up the middle again for no gain and turned it over. In one of the biggest critical times of the game, when we were in scoring position. And it's like, what have the Battlehawks touted their whole spring? What was going to be their big advantage? Was their receiving core, right? Did we ever run a jet sweep?
Mm-mm.
Did we ever run any receiver screen?
There was a play earlier in the game, a wide receiver reverse there that picked up a lot of yards there. But
Well, and
other than
just
that,
explain to me this: how big would it have been to take the 3 points early in the game?
I said that too with at Ford Field, Lions fans, we got Dan Gamble, now you guys may have Anthony Bett, where he hits his, there was a guy in front of me at Ford Field. He turned around and he said, hey, the Battlehawks coach, Anthony Beck, he's like a Dan Gamble, an aggressive guy. So, hindsight, always looking in hindsight, because I rewatched the game too. The first play of the fourth quarter, I know it was 4th and short, but if you take the points there, especially in the close game where points are at a premium, I know you want to get a touchdown, right? But I think are we looking at a different result if hey, let's just take the 3 here.
But as you said, Blake Jackson did the end around, got 15 yards. The very carry you're talking about, he got a 15-yard gain. We never did the play again.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually in football you run something that works, right? So,
but I would disagree with you in the fact that I don't think Coach Beck said what he had to say at the end of the game, and good coaches always want to take the heat on their shoulders so the players don't have to listen to it. Yep. But I don't put this game on Coach Beck at all. He can say whatever he wants to about this one's on me, guys. No, this game was on our offensive coordinator.
100%.
Grodkowski. He calls a conventional NFL boring offense. He has no innovation, no creativity.
I hope he watched San Antonio play. I hope he watched what San Antonio did, because just watching that game and watching the run for 2, run for 1, and then an incomplete and punt is like watching the NFL. It was awful. It was terrible. I couldn't believe it. I thought, where is this wide receiver room that they've so highly touted? And we're not. I mean, what are we doing?
I mean,
I don't even get it. I didn't get it.
It's like leading up to the season, lessons learned from last year. We need to keep our foot on the pedal. Well, there was no lesson learned. This game 1 was about as conservative and
It was awful
from an offensive standpoint. And, Michigan's heart of their defense, you could tell, was their defensive line. I mean, their line was big, and they were big and quick. They had 3.5 sacks on the day.
Yeah, you got Braylon Speaks and Frank Ginda was all over.
But AJ was running for his life on a lot of those plays. A lot of those plays he improvised. He always talked about playing backyard ball. Well, he had to play backyard ball. But so if the heart of their defense is their defensive line, and they got girth and they've got quickness, why is your running plays going straight up the middle? Straight off handoffs right up the middle.
Here, Goldman, make it happen. Make it happen, bud. Here you go.
Goldman, like I've said, I'm a big Goldman fan. I think he can do it, but put him in a position to succeed. I don't understand it.
And how many times did you guess that we took advantage of Michigan's pressure? You know?
Did we ever run a screenplay?
Yeah, or have Gallman slip out of the backfield just beyond the pressure, things like that. No, I mean, I'm just a high school coach. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. You always think to yourself, okay, if they're blitzing, what do we want to do? Well, they were putting a lot of pressure up there, but we weren't squirting out into the flats and putting. I mean, it was like, I was totally just. I couldn't even believe we took the lead at the end.
And I think, too, and even Coach Nolan said, too, both teams battled tremendous amount of adversity throughout the whole game. And that, me sitting in the game, I even told Ed at the game, too, and I'm just, like, these miracle catches, like these catches inside, 2 feet inbound, like we're looking on the Jumbotron, I can't believe he made that catch, and then the extra points going their way, like things are just going the Battlehawks way. And then, credit to Steve Kaiser for finding this kicker. I don't know where do you find him?
He kicks since high school. I don't know where he came from.
The Panthers scouting department sure found him.
I'll never forget. 4th and 10. I'm thinking, they're going for it. They're going for it. I see the kicker come trotting out on the field. I look over at the Michigan fan sitting next to me, and I nudged him on the arm, and he looks at me, and I said, "Can he kick the ball that far?" He looked at me, he goes, "I have no idea." And so that first snap, and we called time, but he kicked it. My jaw must have hit the ground. I looked over at him, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Yeah, I guess he can." So then the second time, when he kicked it, the same guy says, "Oh, he kicked that one too high. It's going to be short." And that ball had at least 5 yards of clearance.
I think he could have kicked it from about 70.
It could have been 70. I think he still would have made it. Yeah. But it's just, you talk about taking the wind out of someone's sails. I mean, that was the longest 8-hour drive I had back to St. Louis, I got to admit.
Oh, yeah. And and it was, clear. Like, I have it on video too. The second one too. There's a good distance between the goalpost and where the net, like the back of the net kicked. He had some more on there.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to announce that Mike is gonna be joining our Fuel Sports Network. He's gonna be our president of our Michigan chapter.
Yeah, we'll get the Panthers fans on board. This is
be looking
exciting time.
Those Michigan fans riled up.
And I can tell you this about the game. I mean, I'm a Battlehawks fan, but from a UFL standpoint, I mean, what a great finish. I mean, yeah, it didn't finish for us, but these are exactly the type of games that we need for the UFL, I think, to be successful. And, while my team didn't come out ahead, yours did, Mike. And I mean, we go from there, but I think these are the types of games, that are going to make the UFL successful. I mean, kickers were big this weekend, I guess, just like they are in the NFL. So
what I noticed too, the Detroit sports media, Woodward Sports. There's a guy, Brad Golly of Detroit. He covers a lot of Michigan football. Seeing all these big media sports outlets in Michigan sharing the big field goal finish, getting a lot of attention on. There's football going on right now, folks. Like,
so
I hope
pay attention.
Yeah, and I think Lions fan. My brother's he scours the Lions fan page. He does what he can too to get people to get attention on it. So Lions fans are like, oh, hey, there's football. We don't have to watch baseball. We can go and watch. We can watch some contact sports. So, I hope I'm assuming winning definitely helps, because good for the San Antonio market, good for the Detroit market, to get some wins, especially early. It's important to win early. We talked about it a few shows ago when we looked at the schedule. We talked about that Michigan Panthers first 3 home games. It was looking like, oh, would Houston be the one out of the 3? But hey, having won against the Battlehawks, here comes Mr. Birmingham in here. We got a tough one. We got a tough one this week. So I told Brett today, you guys don't have Alex Magoo. So I think we'll see. Last year I was like, we'll see how much they can hang on. But I know the Birmingham offense started a little slow. Okay, but let's see. I'm not gonna. Right now, my heart says Birmingham. Or my mind says Birmingham based on I watched both games. If the offense can pick up, because the offense we saw against Birmingham, or not Birmingham, Battlehawks, they can move the ball, but just manage couple things. Manage the red zone. Like, why not running the ball? I think we were all screaming that second time they got in the red zone. Run the ball, run the ball.
Hills is a beast.
Oh my gosh.
That is a man right there.
Yeah.
That guy running the ball, man.
He reminds me of Leonard Fournette. When I watched him run, he come back to the huddle, and I said, Leonard Fournette, that's who that guy reminds me of.
I need to get, I said multiple times, I need to get a Wes Hills jersey. That is a man. Right
he
there.
Is a man. No doubt about it.
I saw, and I'll rewatch the game too. Angry runs. The guy runs angry.
Yep.
That's,
absolutely.
Right. It's perfect for the NFL style formula. With spring football, with these offenses, it's probably really hard, especially early, to get in sync, but what can travel well, what you can do well, especially early, play defense, keep the game close, run the football, take care of the football.
Well, if you look at the top 4 runners for the week, in Hills, Marable and Martinez is quarterback for the Birmingham, and then McFarland for San Antonio. That's 3 winning teams. Early on, when teams are still trying to figure it out, if you can run the ball, you're going to be ahead of the game. And I think that was definitely an advantage for Michigan on Saturday. No question.
Yeah, buy a little more time. EJ Perry, get in sync with your wide receivers, because they have some good ones. Sims, number 9, he's one of the playmakers. I was surprised he didn't get in sync right away, or not right away, but I thought he'd have a little more of an impact. But I think he'll come around. I think Marcus Sims will be one to watch. Trey Quinn, he'll be an impact player as well. You got some dudes on the Panthers. It just might take a little more time. Hopefully, by the time Birmingham rolls around, there'll be a little more offense where we can see the EJ Perry of the last 2 weeks of the USFL season last year. More so in the USFL North Championship game.
Right.
Before we let you go, Mike, we got to add, because we're running big time behind now.
Yep.
We got to get your prediction on the Birmingham, Michigan game.
Yeah, like I said too, right now, if I don't know obviously the line or anything, I think the Bucks will keep it. They'll have it close, but I think right now, I'd give the edge to Birmingham. I don't know if it'll be it could be a touchdown difference of a game, but we'll see. I think this defense will keep it close, and that's all we could ask for right now is just to keep it close. And you never know what can happen. You know, maybe maybe it's a tie game and Michigan has the ball last again. So we'll see.
So all you Michigan fans, get used to seeing Mike's face because he's going to keep building that fan base. And I was wondering if I was going to get to meet you after that game, and then boom,
I had the fun find you.
out of the blue, we just happened to cross paths. So that was
And
cool.
he liked Ford Field, folks. He had a good time there. It's a beautiful stadium.
I talk about concessions right now, but then we'd really be behind. So
yeah, we're behind already. So
one last thing with Jake Bates hitting there, I now deem Ford Field for the year since they travel the stadiums. We'll call Ford Field Bates Motel.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mike.
Go Panthers.
We will see you on the other end.
Houston, we've triumphed. I've made it back to Earth with the cargo intact. The game-changing, time-sensitive payload is none other than the revolutionary energy flavor we've all been waiting for. Introducing Merc Mayhem Cherry Limeade. Merc Clan played a crucial role in securing this energy flavor, and together we've unlocked the future of power. Merc Mayhem is not just a drink, it's a statement, a fusion of relentless energy and bold flavor. The secret is out. Merc Mayhem is set to redefine the energy landscape, leaving ordinary drinks in its cosmic dust. Get ready for a taste explosion that matches Merc Clan's unparalleled power. Join the revolution, and let's unleash Merc Mayhem upon the world. Astronaut M signing off.
Next game up is DC at San Antonio, what I consider the surprise game of the weekend.
Not me. I predicted it correctly.
I'm afraid that I've got a rant on this game, so I'm going to let you two talk about the game for a little while, and I'm going to end the DC San Antonio segment with my version of the bottom line.
Well, I mean, after I watched that game, San Antonio, they got some studs. Kirkland, McFarland running the ball. Kirkland makes some big plays. Aside from the fumble that he had a really good night. They were able to. Garbers at quarterback was making the plays. I tell you what, I was impressed by San Antonio because they did the things that I wish St. Louis would have done. Stretch the field, push the field. Look to hit that middle. Look, they did all the things they needed to do. And I think DC was just, they were just kind of shell shocked. San Antonio's defense, bend, but didn't break. They got down to, inside the 10-yard line about 3 or 4 times and had to settle for field goals. That's exactly, what you need out of a defensive effort. And then when you get the offense, they just did some things that I was impressed with. And, San Antonio gets my A+ for the week because they just, that field goal that turned into a touchdown, I tell you what, big number 55. I can't pronounce his last name, but that was impressive. So that was Wade Phillips, gambling all day and saying, hey, DC, we are going to do everything we can and the kitchen sink at you and throw the kitchen sink at you to win this game. And that's exactly what they did. I was very impressed with San Antonio on the week, and I'm glad I picked them. Go ahead, Brett. You're muted.
You're muted, Brett.
Brett, take your mute off.
There you go. I gotcha. Go ahead.
Again, you pretty much touched on everything that I had mentioned or was going to talk about with this game. One thing you could tell a difference instantly was putting Wade Phillips in charge of that team with that defense, because last year there's no way this squad holds DC to 4 field goal attempts. It just doesn't happen. And like you also said with San Antonio, they went all out, man. That is more along the lines what you're looking for out of St. Louis, and I couldn't agree with you two fellas more on the conservative play calling on that game. But Man, some of the great plays in that San Antonio DC game. It was fun to watch. Very similar to last year's game, except for you can tell San Antonio's a better squad right now, and no wonder Garber's won that job because
Oh,
he's gonna
impressive.
have a good season.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Well,
and Kirkland, they mentioned him, but I think he was hurt last year.
Yes.
Man, they really missed that guy last year.
Yeah.
He's a tool. They're going. I mean, I think you can use him punt, kick returns like they did. Maybe in the backfield, slot position, out wide.
He was
As
everywhere.
long as he
Except he
stays
had the one
healthy, they
mistake.
can.
He had
Yeah,
the one mistake, the one fumble. But
right.
outside of that, that dude was clutch. And I tell you what, McFarland in the backfield, I tell you, that was something. That dude's a runner, and he got some big yards and made some big plays, especially late. He kept chugging. I can't remember. I think it was in the fourth quarter. He had a 20-yard run, I think, in the fourth quarter, and he just turned it on, man. San Antonio was impressive. They get my A+ for the week because that was a game that none of you picked San Antonio, but I did. So that made me 3-1 in the week. Thanks, Battlehawks. But yeah, I was very impressed. They got my A+ for the week.
so
All right, Big
And
Daddy,
the
let's hear the rant.
so you got to give Coach Reggie Barlow credit. He didn't panic that game. He just kept taking the field goals. If that's all he could get, he took the field goals, kept the game close. So here we are in the second half, and DC being one score down, they're driving for the potential game tying go ahead, depending on what extra point they do. They have second and goal at the 8-yard line. And now here is a perfect example. I'm not saying all of today's athletes, but I will just pick on some of today's athletes. You got second and goal from the 8-yard line. It's not bad enough you have a false start, but then you go ahead and you spit on the other team's player.
this guy was my turd of the week. I was going to mention. I'm
Yeah,
glad you went ahead.
definitely,
It's
definitely turn of the week.
15-yard penalty on top of the 5. So then you go from a second and goal from the 8 to second and goal from the 28. So just when and they end up kicking the guy out, which they should. I mean, there's no place
Absolutely.
in the crap. So then what happens? Okay. To Amu scrambling. He throws a ball, gets hit as he releases it. And what happens? The cornerback for San Antonio, Bryce Thompson, number 1, makes a good hit. But what does he got to do? He's got to show the world that he is
Yep.
and he spends the next 2 minutes telling everybody how great a football player he is. In the meantime, flag goes out, 15-yard penalty, and now it goes from second and goal from the 28-yard line to 1st and 10 after they do a 15-yard taunting penalty.
And did you see, Ed? Did you see? I'm sitting there watching that thinking, and I thought about you when I saw that. I'm like, no coaches said anything to these two guys. Nobody told them to get their butts in the locker room. Nobody chewed them out. I saw the kid turn to one of the coaches, and I read his lips. And you know what he said? What did I do?
Yeah.
That was
What did
what
I
he
do?
said.
They're,
He literally said, "What did I do?"
they're literally tending to Tamu on the field. He's hurt. Everybody is concerned. Everybody's getting ready for the next play or whatever. He is literally making his rounds up the sideline, out in the middle of the field, doing his little hand gestures about how great a hit it was. And I thought, have you ever stopped to think, dude, that that's maybe why you're only in the UFL and not
Yeah. Yeah.
the.
Is it a shock to you?
I mean, you know, San Antonio can say, "Oh well, we picked off the pass and went the other way and ended up scoring a touchdown and went up by 2 scores." Yeah, you did. But what happens if you wouldn't have? And now DC has 1st down and goal again after
Yes.
a 15-yard taunting penalty, and now they score the touchdown that their boneheaded player took away from them, and then your boneheaded player gave it right back to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
And just talk about the selfishness of this kid, all the practice and the hard work and the film study of all the coaches, all your teammates, the blood, sweat, tears. And just because you got a guy good, which is your job, what
Yeah.
you're getting
Right.
paid to do, you had to literally, like you said, go up and down the sidelines and showboat, stand over the guy. The guy's laying on the field, don't know how hurt he is. Just, oh, God. Now I understand why Nick Saban isn't still coaching and why he didn't like pro football. Because I'm going to tell you what, I could just imagine being a Bama fan, Bear Bryant having to deal with that 30, 40 years ago. I've got some stories to tell you guys offline. I mean, these athletes now.
I show my age whenever I talk about this because most of the fans today just don't get it. They don't see the game through my eyes.
No.
And evidently, everything's got to be a show. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as just doing your job. You know,
It's me.
I was just fixing to say it's me.
I'm an accountant, right? So does that mean when my debits equal my credits, I should stand up at my desk and start woo and go around the office hand gesturing everybody and looking, look at me, my book's balance. You know, anyway, no, I'm not going to say anymore because that's Big Daddy Ed's rant for the day. So
we're down to one game.
We're down to
one game left.
I am going to take our last break. And when we come back, we are going to hit the last game quickly. And then we are going to make our predictions for week 2.
Same great taste. Yes, same great taste. Same great taste.
And we are back.
Last game of the week.
Last game of the week was Memphis at Houston. And the only thing I will say about this game that just I was befuddled is after I watched that game, I considered Memphis having total control of that game.
Complete. It looked like it was going to be a boat race.
All game long. And somehow Houston almost had a chance at the end to have last possession and win the game. So if it shows you nothing else, is that while you're completely controlling the game, you better be putting points on the board because you can have absolutely zero to show for it if you don't care business.
When I watched that Memphis game and it started and how it went, I thought, man, Memphis is going to walk the dog just like I predicted. They were a 1.5 point favorite. And I said, this should be way more than that. I thought, man, I'm going to be a genius. And then all of a sudden, it's like they forgot how to play football. I mean, Cookus looked like he was, just cooking. And then it just fell apart. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, it looked like I honestly thought Houston was coming back to win that game. It looked like they had the momentum. It looked like they had the ability to do it. Now they didn't do it, but I could not believe what I was watching. It's like Memphis just forgot how to play football in the second half. It was something.
Cookus, like I mentioned to you fellas, before the season, and I kind of told Bill Alexander, from the yacht club, what a tough, great quarterback Cookus is. I don't know if you guys noticed like I did, which is pretty typical for what he endured last year with the Philadelphia Stars and the USFL, but Cookus took a beating Sunday. He took a freaking beating. And you got to give all the credit in the world, really, to Houston's physical, tough defense, even giving them a chance, even keeping them in the game to where their inept offense had a shot, like you guys said, at tying or taking the lead late. Poor Cook is. I don't know if he can endure 9 more games like that this year.
Ooh.
I know he's tough, and I've seen him the last 2 years in the USFL, but he took a beating Sunday, and Houston's got a lot of work to do on that offensive side of the ball. But I will end it on this: great physical defense, very inept offense. They are who we thought they were.
Correct. 100%. Houston's defense, if they're going to stay in games and have a chance to win, it's going to lead on the defense 100%. Because that offense, man, I thought this does not look very good at all.
No.
But Memphis
No.
just kept letting them hang around, mistakes here, turnover there. Pretty soon, they got a shot to win. And, you know, as I look at all these games, not just this game, but I look at all these games and, you know, going back to the Arlington-Birmingham game, I felt Arlington let them off the hook. You know, they didn't make good plays, or when Birmingham had the ball, they'd have them at 3rd and 12, and they'd give up the first down. They just allowed Birmingham to make the plays. In every single critical moment, Arlington was not able to step up, get that stop, or make that play. But they played their butts off.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it wasn't for that touchdown, if they go in 11-3 at halftime, and I don't know what the safety was thinking in the middle of the field. He just stopped. That guy ran right by him. And I just thought to myself, what is he doing out there?
Same thing that happened when Birmingham gave up that bomb. The safety was standing in concrete like a deer with his, deer in headlights. Like, what are you doing? I mean, he didn't even move.
I thought to myself, as inept as this offense, as inept as Houston's offense was, they still had a chance. If Arlington takes advantage of the situations they had, even a couple of them, that's a different game.
Yeah.
St. Louis, that game was close. San Antonio boat race DC. I mean, I never felt like that game was even close, even though if DC makes a play and doesn't have 59 and lose his mind and do dumb stuff, they're in it. So, I mean, the whole competitiveness of the whole weekend, I think I saw a comment there on some of the NFL pages. They were like, oh, if the UFL is anything like Saturday, I mean, Sunday better be better. This could be bad. I'm like, you're not watching the same games I am. I mean, yes, it got sloppy in some of those games, but they also have to realize these teams had 1 month to try to put every aspect of the game of football, special teams, offense, defense, the whole shooting match together. They had 1 month. That will start getting cleaned up, and they'll get more polished and stuff like that. But you can't just look at, well, there was mistakes, there was this, there was that, whatever. There was a lot of things that happened in those games. But I thought all of these games are very competitive. I thought at any given time, these games could have went one direction or the other. And most of them were winnable right up until the end. Aside from, the San Antonio DC game where I just felt like DC was, I don't know, offensively, if you force Teamu to throw that many times, it's very clear, boys, and I think we talked about this last week. Not having Abram Smith there is an absolute knife to the offense of DC. I think it's an absolute killer.
A lot of parity this year, fellas. Like I said, I think we're going to have a lot of good, close, wild finishes at the end of a lot of these games, which is going to be exciting. It's going to help the league grow. You're going to see highlights all over, just like you did from this past weekend with the fake punt touchdown to the center, the 64-yard field goal, on and on and on. We're set up for success moving forward, and I would be shocked. I would be shocked if I'm wrong about this. I seriously doubt the league next year and the following year will open on Easter weekend, and we could probably move on from there.
Right.
I believe there's definitely was lessons learned there. That's for sure.
You know what torques me off a little bit is Not one single play. And and you mentioned two of them, the 64-yarder and the touchdown to the center. Not one of those plays made ESPN's top 10. What a joke.
And I watched a lot of their top 10, and I'm sitting there waiting on a couple of our plays, and I'm like, whoever controls that segment for ESPN, they must be just a damn baseball junkie. Excuse my language. But those two football plays to me was better than half of their top 10. I don't know who, what, when, where. If Stevie Wonder's in charge of that or who handles that for ESPN, but that is a damn joke.
Two of the games were on ESPN, for crying out loud. And those two plays they don't have room in your top 10? Give me a break. Give me a break.
So what we're going to do, guys.
Maybe it's Pat McAfee that handles their top 10.
I don't know.
So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wrap up this hour, the breakdown of all the games. That's going to be the end of the show on the Fuel Sports Network on Roku. But come back after this break, and we will break down the games for week 2 and make our picks. So if you want to continue watching the show, please go to Pro Football Alliance, and we will be back right after this break. If you have to leave us, have a good rest of your week, and hope your team wins in week 2. But we'll see you on the other end.
Hit for my wins, I need my ends. The cypher's real, and play pretend. Came off the
We are back, and I think it is only fitting. First game in week 2 is going to be San Antonio at Memphis. It's only fitting that we play their little promo before we start breaking it down.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Guess what I did? I hit the wrong one. I'll bet this one sounds a lot better. In fact, I'm going to do this right. I'm taking. Only fitting to play that as your 1-0 San Antonio Brahmas, leaders of the XFL division, with the other 3 teams with the big offer going on. So we got to give them their cred for this week. So we got San Antonio traveling to Memphis, and the big home opener for the Memphis Showboats.
This is going to be a tough one.
So which one of you want to go first on this one before we make our picks?
I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
So San Antonio had a great weekend. Again, they earned my A+ for the weekend. They were aggressive. They pushed the ball down the field. They weren't afraid to take chances. They really impressed me. A lot of times that is not going to travel every week. You're going to have adjustments made by the opposite team. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you to take the things away that you did well the week before. I bet going forward, it's going to be very difficult to run that play that they made that they completed to number 55. Big man going down the middle of the field. It's embarrassing enough to get it run on you once, but if somebody else gets it run on them again and it works, that's going to be an issue. So I think, what Memphis is going to have to do is they're going to have to figure out what the formula was in the first half against Houston this week and try to carry that forward into this game, because I think San Antonio's defense is no slouch. They're going to have to come out and really play hard against that San Antonio defense. Memphis's defense is really good as well. I think in this game, with the home opener, that sort of thing, I'm going to give, and I think this line could be very thin. I'm still going to go with Memphis in this game. It's the home opener for them. I think they're going to correct some of the things that kind of went wrong for them last week, but I'm leaning Memphis on this game. What do you think, Brett?
I've been thinking about this since last night. Might be the game of the week.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game to watch, and early game on Saturday. I got to go with my boy Cookus. I think he's going to be the difference. I couldn't imagine this game going over 3 points. I imagine the spread won't even be 3.
No.
It definitely won't be any more than that. But I think it'd be tough, physical, low scoring. It'll be still wild and crazy. You're going to have some fun, different plays called between both coaching staffs. It's going to be, might have an ESPN top 10 on there somewhere. You don't know.
Right.
A lot of talent on the field. Again, it's Memphis' home opener. Our boy Bill Alexander and his yacht club will be attending. Will be showing out. I can't wait for that game. It's going to be a good one, but I'm definitely taking Memphis by a field goal.
I thought it was interesting. One of the interesting things from that San Antonio game is, everybody was waiting to get to see the Destroyer kick his first field goal, right? And so when, every time he kicked off after a score or whatever, he was kicking that ball and it was damn near getting to the goal line, right? And then I look at the game at St. Louis played at Michigan, and when Battlehawks kicked off, it was landing anywhere from the 12 to 15-yard line. When San Antonio kicked off in their game, it was making it to the goal line. That's a huge difference. That is
Huge.
huge difference. And so San Antonio had plenty of occasions during that game to kick a field goal. And the one they had the fake that they threw to 55 for a touchdown, so you can't fault them for that. But I found it interesting. I thought that they would want to get the old butterflies out of his stomach and let him go ahead and kick one just to get one under his belt. And there was a couple times that I thought they might kick the field goal on 4th down, and they went for it. It just seemed like every time I was ready to watch him kick one, he didn't get to kick it. So what do you guys think? Does that kind of make the butterflies continue to grow, or do you think it ain't going to matter 1 week to the next?
Well, he did make that one attempt and he missed it wide right. I think it was a 48-yarder.
Yeah.
When they ran that play then, but yeah, I agree with you, Daddy. I think they should have maybe got the butterflies out, because I would hate to see it come down to a field goal at the end of the game for San Antonio to win, and he hasn't attempted a field goal yet. That would make me nervous. I would have wanted him to get the cobwebs out one way or the other. So, I mean, we'll see. He had plenty of leg on that 48-yarder. He just missed it. So we'll see how it goes. But who you got? Who you taking?
I said that. Brad, who you taking?
No, I'm taking Memphis by 3. Definitely taking Memphis by 3. But it's going to be a fun game. And I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be an entertaining game.
God. I had set in my head that I was going to take Memphis because I am very impressed with Memphis. But I'm starting to wonder, was week 1 just an anomaly for Memphis that they were able to control the game but not put points on the board? Because if they do that same thing in week 2 against San Antonio, I don't know that recipe is going to work. But I still got to take Memphis.
No, I thought you were trying to make up because you didn't announce at the beginning here that Easy E was 3-1 on the week, and you two guys were 2-2. So I'm 3-1 so far.
Brett
I
and
thought
Big
maybe
Brett are both 2-2. Easy E won week 1 with a 3-1, but God, I don't know. You know what? Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say you're gonna regret it.
I'll stick with it. Okay. Second game of the week, we got Arlington traveling to the Big Arch. Saturday night primetime game. Tailgate starting at 8 in the morning.
Now, are we rolling at 8 in the morning?
You know it.
All right.
You know it. 8 o'clock, baby. We're going to be setting up at 8 bells. That's for sure.
That'll be a pacer. A pacer.
So Arlington, St. Louis. God, please learn something from week 1 and know that you need to come out of the gates fast and furious. Jet sweeps, screen passes, receiver screens. You threw one deep pass to Blake Jackson that you overthrew him on, but he was wide open by 5 yards, and you never threw another deep pass the rest of the game. I just don't understand that why be so conservative. I just don't understand the conventional conservative. You look at all these other games. San Antonio, they pulled everything out of the bag, man.
Yep. Get that W.
They were balls to the wall, whatever it took. They weren't going to start on one. And this starting conservative, afraid to make a mistake, and just wanting to play it as close to the best to try and keep the game close until you take control. I mean, just put your foot on the gas and go.
Yep.
That's all. I mean, so that's all I'm saying about that game. So go ahead. You guys take it on. Take it over.
All right. I'll take this. I'll take this game. This is the last week. This is the last week because I believe I do not agree with Jersey at all. I don't think our defense has given up 32 points. No chance. But I will tell you this. This is the last week that the Battlehawks come out and they're conservative and it's just a garbage called game. I will not take St. Louis the rest of the year. But I'm going to take St. Louis in this game because I am attending it, and there's no way that they're going to let me down. If they come out conservative and they just lay an egg, I'm done taking them the rest of the year. So I'll take St. Louis in this game. But again, it's gonna be a close one, as I think a lot of these games are gonna be. I think this is gonna be a close one, but I'm gonna give St. Louis at home in front of the 30 or 40,000 crazy Battlehawk fans.
Okay, Brett, go ahead.
Let me see. Jersey took Arlington last week too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. St. Louis. St. Louis. Hey, man, we got some good games this weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. Prime time with all the cuckoos. Yeah, that's going to be a good game, man. And those are definitely two potential playoff teams. I understand St. Louis is 0-1, all that. They've got the talent to turn around and win 7-8 games this year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough for Perez. If anyone could go to the Battle Dome and beat the Battlehawks, it would be Arlington. But I'm going to give St. Louis a close one. So St. Louis by 6.
I think Coach Beck is going to have a little talk with the offensive coordinator this week, Oskowski. Grodkowski, and I think he is going to inform him that with the raucous crowd that we need to deliver with some excitement. And we are going to actually do something besides running the ball straight up the middle
Yeah.
between tackles. And then we have a handoff to the wide receiver who gets 15 yards, and then we never do it again. We have a wide receiver, like I said, that's wide open, and then we never throw the ball deep again. Just open it up, man. That's all I ask. Just let's play a little pinball. We're in the dome. We're going to have new lighting, so nobody has an excuse they couldn't see the ball. Everything's going to be nice and bright. I even got all the confidence in the world that they are going to have fresh pretzels. First game of the year. I'm going to get to have a nacho that I don't have to break a bag open. I am going to take the St. Louis Battlehawks because, like I said, we have never lost to Arlington, and Arlington just in the games that the Battlehawks have played against Arlington, they just haven't impressed me. But let's see, Jay agrees. Kind of like the way he's thinking. Let's see. So anyway, we will take another break, and we're going to see the Memphis Showboats. And this time I'll play the right one. And when we come back, we will hit Birmingham at Michigan.
You hit the wrong one again.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by.
All right. So take that down off the screen. We are at Birmingham at Michigan. I should
Go ahead, Brett. You're open.
Should have told Mike to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably watching. We can get him back on if we need to.
He got his pick.
He did, and you know, I was kind of really surprised he didn't go with Michigan for obvious reasons. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But look, nobody's going to be picking Michigan to upset Birmingham. I imagine there'll be a pretty strong crowd. The fans are already pumped and excited from what happened this previous weekend. Can Michigan beat Birmingham? Absolutely. Birmingham went up there last year and struggled for quite a bit. Look, Michigan's got a very strong defense. They've got a very good defensive-minded coach. Their quarterback play has definitely improved. Like I said, he came on around week 9 last year and had a good performance in their playoff game against the Maulers, Pittsburgh Maulers. But I just think Birmingham's got a little too much speed and just a little too much at the skill position. So once again, I'll take Birmingham by 7, but no disrespect to Michigan or their fans. It's going to be a good game. It's not going to be, you'll probably see or hear all week that it's going to be one-sided and Michigan don't stand a chance and that, you know, Birmingham's going to boat race them. Well, we had Magoo last year, and we did not boat race Michigan there, and I do not anticipate that again this year. All that being said, again, give me Birmingham by 7.
Yeah, I kind of see this game going very similar to the Arlington game where, Michigan's going to be riding a high coming off the Battlehawks game. They're at home, so they're going to be carrying the momentum that way. So I could see a first half where, you're tied, it's close, but I think Birmingham is a second half team. I think they were last year, and I think you'll see them. I think you'll see them turn it up in the second half and maybe be a little bit too much for Michigan, maybe wear them down a little bit. So I'm taking Birmingham, but I still think it's going to be a close. It's going to be somewhere in that 4-7 range. But I think Birmingham's going to pull this one out to go 2-0.
Man, we're agreeing on everything. I might have to revisit that San Antonio Memphis game after all. Before
No, picks are in, man. You can't go back and change based on that. You got to do it right then.
Guarantee you probably that we are going to have 4 games that we all picked exactly the same way.
Maybe.
Well, as much as I'd like to think that Michigan has a chance, I look at all the lost opportunities that St. Louis had in that game that granted, it wasn't just St. Louis not doing, it was Michigan doing. So, but I just think that Birmingham is going to have too much, and it's really going to give them quite a leg up in their division, because you're talking about the possibility of being 2-0 and having it be 2-0 winning both road games before they even have a chance to play at home. So that's going to give them a huge advantage in the division. But I got to go with Birmingham. So we all 3 agree on that one. Which brings us to the last game of the week, Houston at DC. And I know that I saw Big Rig on here earlier, so hopefully he's still with us so he can give me his prediction in the comment line. But what do you think about that game, Brett?
Houston is who we thought they were. That being said, right now it's obvious DC's got some problems with the running back at the receiver position. Even the head coach was caught mentioning one of his wide receivers this weekend,
Brandon Smith.
bitching and complaining he didn't get the ball, and then we gave him the ball, he drops it, whatever he said. I thought that was pretty funny. Good for him for pointing out the obvious.
Then his
I
I think is exactly what he said.
Yeah, I like Barlow. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that
was
part.
good.
Yeah,
Love the UFL being mic'd up, man. I love
yeah.
that.
I don't know what they're going to do, fellas, with that right tackle spot, DC, number 59, too. That guy's a mess. Not only did he do what you guys mentioned at the end of the San Antonio game, I want to say he had 3 or 4 penalties before that.
Yeah, he might have.
He's a train wreck, man. And you got Houston coming to town with a very, very, very good front seven, which we saw this weekend. There, and a couple of their best defenders didn't even play this weekend. I think it will be close, but I would be surprised. I just don't think they have enough offense, man. They don't have enough quarterback play. They just don't have enough. Give me DC by 3, and hopefully it will get DC to kind of work out some of the cobwebs.
Well, we got Big Rig taking Houston, 23-15. Jay's weighing in. I believe he's saying DC's going to win 24-7.
No, 27-14 Roughnecks.
That's what I read it the first time, but he says DC in a hard-hitting game. So
Yep. I agree with you, Brett. If Houston had any type of offense, like if their offense scared me in the least bit, like that much, I would take Houston because their defense is solid.
Yeah.
I mean, they are solid. Like,
yeah.
I thought they played very, very well on the defensive side of the ball. But man, that offense just looks, Jay mentions it, Mark Thompson. If they had anything offensively that I said, wow, they could do it, I'd pick Houston all day. but I just cannot believe that DC comes out as flat as they did against San Antonio in this second game. You know, good defense or not, it is going to be a hard-hitting one. I agree. But I just think that you got to give the nod to DC right now. I don't think they're going to go down 0-2. Definitely, they're not going to go down 0-2. But man, I just wish if he like I said, if I believed in Houston's offense at all, I would be picking Houston. But I just don't. So
I
I've got to
agree.
go with DC, and a close one. It's not. It's a close game no matter what.
Yeah.
But I got to go with DC. I mean, therefore field goal would be enough in this game. Like it's just that's just how much faith I do not have in Houston's offense right now. It's a mess.
DC and the Fighting Beer Snakes.
Yeah,
Right.
Jersey weighs in that he thinks that Mark Thompson will make quite a difference because DC couldn't stop Anthony McFarland for San Antonio. So he thinks Mark Thompson will be a big enough.
Man,
Is
he's
Mark
calling
back this week? Is he back?
That's what Jersey is saying in the comment line.
Ooh, can we get a clarification on that? Is Thompson?
Yeah,
gonna be
we
back?
might need a redo on that, fellas, because he carried that team for 2 years. I mean, Birmingham's lost 3 games in 2 years. 2 of them was to Houston.
I
Mark
mean,
Thompson's a problem.
Jersey, can you give us a clarification on that? Are you sure that Thompson's back? I mean, that changes my pick if they can.
You know,
They can
you
open
guys
it.
already made your pick. It only changes.
Whoa!
It hasn't made a pick yet.
The segment is not complete. We have new information. We're not just changing it to try to, get up in the picks, up in our standings.
I don't know. I just
If Mark's 100%, I'm telling you guys, he's a problem. He is
Yeah.
a hoss. He is a hoss.
I have a hard time picking against DC, even after the way they looked against San Antonio, because
Especially at home, and they're supposed to have a pretty good crowd this weekend.
they're at home in front of their home crowd. I think that, like I said, I got to think Reggie Barlow's going to fine tune some things, and he's going to have those guys ready to play. So I got to go with DC too myself. So, man, I tell you, hopefully we don't agree 100% on our picks every week, or this segment's going to lose a little bit.
We didn't last week. That's why I'm up 3-1, boys.
He's mentioned that about 12 times, but for the playoff picks last year, I think he mentioned that once.
Hey,
for the NFL playoff picks.
I'm not supposed to be the UFL guy, and here I am sitting at 3-1, man. You're supposed to be the USFL guy. Ed's the XFL guy. I'm the add-on guy, and here I sit at 3-1. I don't know. You call
What's that old saying? Even the sun is shining on a dog's ass once in a while.
Well, here's the deal. Regardless of what happens next week, I'm still going to be in the lead.
You're still going to be in the lead. And we will hear about it 27 more times next week, too.
You're exactly right, you will.
Ed's like, screw it, I'm going with Houston.
Nope, he said DC. It's locked now. It's locked.
So just for a quick 2 minutes, because we haven't talked NFL in a long time, but we're going to do it for 2 minutes. Eric, are you surprised to see old JJ McCarthy climbing that draft board?
Yes.
Some mock drafts have him going as high as number 2 now.
That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. I don't understand it. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback. Yes, he was part of a national championship team, but you're talking about a quarterback then in 8 of the games that they played through the season didn't have 15 attempts. That's not the NFL. That's not the NFL. The NFL is a 25 to 40 attempt league, and you're going to take a JJ McCarthy that high in the draft over a May, over a Jaden Daniels. Ooh, I mean, whatever. They're smarter than I am, but I don't get it.
And I am telling you, Jim Harbaugh is gutting the Chargers, and he's only got one player left on offense that's part of the old regime, and he is in a draft position to be able to have an opportunity to draft his boy from Michigan as his quarterback. Does he make a draft day trade and
It,
send Justin Herbert packing and taking his boy for his team going forward? You
I
know,
might be wrong, but if he makes that move, I think his tenure at or at LA for the Chargers is going to be short lived.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I don't get. To me, JJ McCarthy looks like that kind of kid that needs to hold the clipboard for 3 or 4 years.
mhm.
And those guys are second and third round picks. They're not first round picks.
No.
JJ McCarthy is, in my opinion, and I'm not an NFL scout. I'm nothing but an NFL fan. I can't see him being NFL ready right now. I just can't. I mean, I have seen way more dynamic quarterbacks coming out of college that absolutely tanked it. And I just don't think he's there. But I mean, I could be wrong. I can't see it.
isn't it something though? How much momentum hype can be on the
Oh,
it's
tons.
amazing to watch players climb the draft board just from hype. Who was the defensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles years ago that you never even hardly heard of him, and he ended up going really high in the draft?
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about. Was he number 55? Oh God, I should have never brought him up because now I can't think of his name.
yeah, because now I'm going to sit here and think about it and not be able
Was
to
his
pull
name
up.
Graham?
No,
No.
no. Anyway, but just like oh God, it's a good thing the show's ending because
Oh,
my mind is ending. Who's the guy the defensive end that went number one overall that had no more reason to be number one overall than you or me? And he still went. Did he go to the Texans?
let's see. I'll tell you real quick here. Are you talking about Davian Clowney?
Yes.
Yeah, Clowney. He's gone. He's gone to.
Clowney is with
He was with Baltimore now. Where is he at?
Is he with the Commanders?
no, he didn't he sign with like the Panthers or something?
He might. He's bounced around so much here recently. Yeah, he just man, he was a quote unquote phenom in college, but he made that one super play that they still show highlights of. I want to say in the Citrus Bowl
See,
against Michigan.
see, I haven't lost it yet. It took me a while, but Jersey confirmed that it was.
Yeah,
But
Panthers.
this is the dude that I was trying to think of, and Jay helped me out on that one. See, I gotta rely on my fans here, man.
That's right.
If I read the comment line, they're gonna help me out when I have these senior moments.
You wonder how some of these guys climb those draft boards and all. I guess they did well in their interviews or whatever. I mean, what the hell does that have to do with playing a game?
I don't know.
They go to the combine and they score well when they don't have pads on or nothing. They don't have anybody engaging them or anything like that. But they like how high they jump. They like how fast they can run between the cones and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we're gonna have to have an NFL segment, a real bona fide NFL segment here coming up in one of our next shows, just to kind of get an update on where we're at from the NFL. But I tell you what, the UFL's hot right now, and we had to get you through week 1 and get you prepared for week 2. So
I thought week 1 was exciting, and I think week 2 is going to be even better.
Yeah.
Because we had some surprise teams, some surprise games. I think it's going to be even better.
So anybody got any parting shots? If not, we are going to call it a wrap.
Battlehawks, you better open it up, or I'm never, and I mean ever, picking you again. Coach Beck, get Gradkowski in there. Tell him that the playbook is more than up the middle and 7-yard passes. I'm talking to you directly. Open it up, stretch the field, and put some pressure on the defense. That's it.
And that is the bottom line. We will see you next Monday. Enjoy the games in week 2. We'll talk to you later.